Good morning, everyone. Although when I say good morning, I kind of have realized over the last few days that people watch this at different times of the day. So it could be good morning, could be good afternoon, could be I hope you enjoyed your tea, or it could be good night, depending on what time you're watching this. But it is good to be able to share these thoughts with you, whatever time of day, and to be able to be together in this way, in some way during this time. We've been thinking about the Lord's Prayer in the Sermon on the Mount, and we looked yesterday at that phrase, "Forgive us our debts," and today we're looking at the second half of that, which perhaps for a lot of us is the more challenging half as we forgive others. So I'm going to read to you the Lord's Prayer again. This is from the paraphrase of the Sermon on the Mount, from J.B. Phillips' paraphrase. Pray then like this: Our Heavenly Father, may your name be honoured, may your kingdom come, and your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day the bread we need. Forgive us what we owe to you, as we have also forgiven those who owe anything to us. Keep us clear of temptation, and save us from evil. I'm going to read on a couple of verses. For if you forgive other people their failures, your Heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you will not forgive other people, neither will your Heavenly Father forgive you your failures. We thought about this idea of us owing a debt to God. And for a moment I want us to compare the debt we owe Him with the debt others owe us for the things that they've done to us, for the ways in which they've hurt us. And as we do that, just take a step back for a moment and think about the 10 Commandments. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall honour your father and your mother. You shall not covet anything that belongs to anybody else. And as we think about all of those, and we start to think where we have fallen short in all of those, we begin to realise that we owe God so much. And then when you take that into the Sermon on the Mount and you hear Jesus talking about the law and talking about the real implications of the law, so that whenever you look at someone else lustfully, you've committed adultery in your heart, or when you are out of control angry with somebody, you've already committed murder in your heart, then we feel that weight even more. And then you take the greatest commandment. When Jesus was asked what the greatest commandment is, and he asked the person to give his own answer, and he said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind and strength, and your neighbour as yourself. And Jesus said, that's it, do that and you've got it. But of course none of us have done that. None of us have loved God with all that we are and have. None of us have loved our neighbour so consistently. In fact, we do things to put ourselves first all the time above our neighbours. And even when it comes to loving ourselves, we do things to ourselves that we know are not good for us, whether it's for our bodies, for our minds, for our souls. We know that we do things that are not good for us. We don't love ourselves as we should even. So we are in so much debt to God. And then we look at the cross and we see that all of that is forgiven. In Colossians, Paul says, all of your sin has been nailed to the cross. It's dealt with, it's done. What we deserve from God for our failure, for our sin, for our debt, is justice. To be required to pay back all that we owe, which we can never do. What we ask for God when we ask for forgiveness is mercy, recognition that we are stuck, we are helpless, we need His help to get us out of this situation. And what we get from God, what He offers us, is grace, what we actively do not deserve. We ask to be forgiven. He makes us His children. brings us into his family, draws us into a relationship with him we could never have hoped for. What is it we do when we don't forgive other people? What is it we're saying? We're saying we want justice, what God has actively not given us. We're saying we want the debt to be repaid, what he has not required of us. And so if we have been forgiven, forgiveness is a necessity for us. Forgiveness is hard, it's costly, it's sacrificial, it's difficult. If you don't believe me, look at the cross, because that was the price of our forgiveness. But when you look at the cross, and when you see the price that was paid for your forgiveness and for my forgiveness, then forgive. Forgive others as we have been forgiven. At the moment, at this time, throughout this lockdown period, and especially if you are at home with your family, then forgiveness is essential. Absolutely essential, because let's face it, we are going to get on each other's nerves. We are going to annoy one another. We are maybe even going to say things that hurt one another from time to time, or do things that hurt one another. So we all need to be able to forgive. Maybe one of the things that will come out of this time will be that we appreciate that we need to forgive more, and that we begin to practice that more. Maybe that will happen. Maybe God will do that work in our hearts that enables us to be that bit more forgiving, that bit more gracious, that bit more gentle and kind and understanding of one another. If that happens, that could be at least one good thing that comes out of all of this. Trust that you will be blessed today in whatever you're doing, and that God will give you grace and peace today. And we'll see you soon, I really hope. God bless. Take care.